It all began on a rainy Thursday evening. I, Alex Mercer, sat hunched over my laptop in the dim light of my cluttered apartment, the soft hum of my computer blending with the distant rumble of thunder outside. My life had always been a quiet, predictable loop: work, gym, a few online friends, and weekends lost in video games. I was a tech geek through and through, and I prided myself on knowing every shortcut, app, or hack the digital world had to offer. But that night, my curiosity would lead me down a path I could never have imagined. The apartment smelled faintly of coffee and old books, a combination that somehow soothed my restless mind. My relationship with Isabella had been complicated. Not in a bad way, exactly, but in a way that constantly reminded me of my insecurities. She was vibrant, outgoing, and effortlessly stylish, while I often felt like I existed in the background, a grayscale shadow in her technicolor world. She loved me, I knew that, but she also had this playful side, a mischievous streak that thrived on teasing. Little did I know, that streak would soon turn into something irreversible. On that particular evening, I stumbled across a forum discussing a secret app, an app said to completely transform a person's appearance through an immersive augmented reality experience. At first, I laughed. A transformation app? Sounds like a gimmick. But something in me hesitated. Was it curiosity? A desire to escape the monotony of my life? Or something deeper? I didn't realize it yet, but I had always harbored a hidden fascination with femininity. It wasn't something I talked about, not even to Isabella. Not that I was ashamed, more like cautious. My interests in fashion, makeup tutorials, and feminine aesthetics had always been private, tucked away like a secret bookmark in my mind. The forum was filled with screenshots and glowing testimonials. Users claimed the app could simulate changes with such precision that it felt real: hair texture, facial features, body proportions, even voice modulation. Some joked that it was more than just an app and hinted at magical possibilities. I laughed nervously, shaking my head. It's all digital nonsense, I muttered to myself. But the seed of temptation had been planted. My fingers hovered over the download link. One click, and my life could change forever. Isabella's voice popped into my head. "Don't get lost in your gadgets again, Alex," she often said with that playful smirk. She had no idea how serious my curiosity could get, how deeply I craved experiences that blurred the lines between fantasy and reality. And tonight, I decided, half out of boredom, half out of daring, I would try it. The download was quick, almost unnervingly so, and the interface was sleek, minimalist, and oddly enticing. "Welcome to Transform," the screen read in bold letters. A simple menu offered options: appearance, personality, and lifestyle. My heart raced as I navigated to appearance. The app prompted me to take a selfie. Hesitant, I angled my phone, capturing the familiar features I had always known: short brown hair, tired eyes, and a slightly awkward jawline. With a single tap, the app processed the image. I watched, frozen, as the reflection morphed before my eyes. My jaw softened. My hair lengthened and shimmered like silk. My eyes seemed larger, more expressive. My shoulders narrowed, my body slenderized. The screen showed me as a girl, a version of me I had never imagined being real. It was shocking, exciting, terrifying, and incredibly arousing in a way I couldn't explain. I blinked at the screen, my pulse quickening. Could this really be me? The app encouraged me to explore further, selecting hairstyles, makeup styles, outfits. I hesitated only for a moment before diving in. Each choice intensified the transformation. Lipstick, blush, mascara, soft waves cascading down my shoulders. Dresses, skirts, heels. My avatar moved with elegance and confidence I didn't recognize in myself. As I stared at the screen, my phone buzzed. A message from Isabella: "Don't spend too long on that game, nerd," smirking-faced. I laughed nervously, hiding the phone from view. How could I explain this? I couldn't. Not yet. The secret was mine alone, a private thrill. By the time I finally looked away from the screen, it was nearly midnight. Rain lashed against the windows, the city lights reflecting off wet pavement. I felt different, yet not entirely changed. A flicker of anxiety ran through me. What if this app wasn't just digital? What if it altered me somehow? I shook my head. No. It's just a trick. Just a game. And yet, I couldn't deny the fluttering excitement in my chest. I had glimpsed a new version of myself, one that was both alluring and terrifying. One that made me question everything I thought I knew about my identity, my desires, and my relationship with Isabella. That night, as I turned off the computer and prepared for bed, I realized something I hadn't expected. I was ready to see this through. Whatever the cost. The rain continued to fall, the apartment silent except for my heartbeat. And somewhere deep inside, I sensed that this was only the beginning. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the blinds, painting warm stripes across the apartment floor. I woke with a strange mix of anticipation and dread. My body felt different. Not in any permanent way, I told myself, but the memory of last night's transformation lingered, vivid and intoxicating. My phone buzzed incessantly with notifications, but I ignored them, drawn instead to the app's icon glowing like a tiny promise of forbidden adventure. I hesitated, then tapped it. The interface greeted me as if nothing had changed. But my reflection in the app's mirror mode made my stomach flutter. The girl version of me stared back, soft features, silky hair, delicate hands. I felt a pang of longing mixed with fear. Could I really step into this world? Could I let myself explore this side of me fully? Internal struggles. My first instinct was to panic. What if Isabella saw this? What if she thought I was someone else entirely? Shame prickled at my chest, but beneath it was a thrill I couldn't ignore. The duality of my feelings consumed me. The shame of indulging in a secret desire versus the exhilaration of finally embracing it. I realized I had never felt truly seen in this way. This version of me was confident, alluring, and unapologetic, while my real self often felt invisible. I found myself pacing the room, weighing the risks. If I tried this for real, there was no turning back. My pulse quickened at the thought, and despite my fear, my curiosity won. I couldn't resist. Transformation begins. I opened the wardrobe, heart hammering. Dresses, skirts, blouses. I'd never thought about wearing them myself, yet I had always admired them on others. With trembling hands, I pulled out a soft, floral dress and held it against my chest. The fabric felt unreal, almost magical in texture. I closed my eyes, imagining the app's girl version of me stepping into it. Then, shaking with anticipation, I changed. Next came makeup. My fingers shook as I picked up a compact from the corner of my desk. Isabella's, I realized with a pang of guilt. Lipstick first, a soft pink that made my lips feel alive. Blush followed, warming my cheeks with a natural glow. Eyeshadow, mascara, eyeliner. I applied each with care, marveling at the subtle power of transformation. With each stroke, I felt myself slipping further from Alex and becoming someone entirely new. The final touch, my hair. Isabella had left a curling iron in the bathroom. I hesitated before running it through my hair, feeling the silky waves cascade over my shoulders. My reflection in the mirror made my breath catch. I barely recognized myself. The girl in the mirror smiled back, confident, seductive, and alive in a way I had never experienced. Suspenseful situation. The apartment suddenly felt enormous and exposed. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the blinds, sent shivers down my spine. I was alone, or so I thought. The thrill of being caught pulsed through me like electricity. Isabella could return at any moment. What would she think if she saw me like this? Could I explain? Or would she recoil in shock? I tiptoed around, testing the weight of the heels I had dared to wear. They were higher than anything I had ever attempted. Each step was unsteady, my balance precarious, yet I reveled in it. The sensation of standing taller, feeling the sway of the dress, the softness of the fabric against my skin, it was intoxicating. My phone buzzed again. A message from a friend popped up. "Hey Alex, want to play some games tonight?" I froze. The casual tone of my old life felt alien. Could I really go back to being the same person? A shiver of fear mixed with longing ran down my spine. I ignored it, pressing a finger to my lips and whispering to the girl in the mirror, "Just a little longer. Just one more hour." Physical and emotional tension. Time seemed elastic. Minutes stretched into hours as I explored this new persona. I twirled in front of the mirror, each motion revealing something new. The sway of my hips, the curve of my waist, the delicate arch of my back. Vulnerability and power coexisted, making my chest tighten. I realized I had never felt truly alive in my normal form. There was no freedom, no thrill. But the tension built. Every sound, footsteps from the hallway, the hum of the refrigerator, felt like a warning. Was Isabella coming home early? Was someone outside noticing me through the window? My heart raced, and with every cautious glance at the door, the thrill intensified. Exploration and discovery. I began experimenting further. Jewelry, perfumes, accessories. I touched each item with reverence, feeling how small details could completely alter my presence. The app had given me the template, but this was reality. I moved differently, spoke differently, even breathed differently. The girl version of me was emerging not just on screen, but in body and mind. And yet, each transformation brought a pang of fear. Was I losing myself? Would Alex disappear completely, leaving only this constructed persona? The line between fantasy and reality blurred with every passing minute. Cliffhanger for build-up. Just as I was beginning to feel a sense of mastery, a noise stopped me cold, a key in the lock. Isabella? My pulse spiked. I was standing in the middle of the room, heels clicking against the hardwood, dress fluttering slightly, hair perfectly styled. There was no time to hide. No time to change. My heart pounded as the doorknob turned slowly, and that's where I froze. The thrill, the fear, the transformation, all collided in a single heartbeat. The door began to open, and I had to make a choice: remain as the girl I had become, or try desperately to reclaim my old self. The door creaked open, and my heart nearly stopped. Isabella stepped inside, humming softly, unaware of the whirlwind about to hit her senses. I froze, heels stiff beneath me, dress clinging awkwardly in the most revealing way. My reflection in the hallway mirror caught my eye. I looked different. Too different. Twist or obstacle. Isabella stopped mid-step, eyes widening. Alex. Is that you? Her voice wavered between shock, confusion, and something else I couldn't quite place. Curiosity, maybe even fascination. I panicked, scrambling for words. I thought I'd try something new. My voice cracked, betraying the tension that coiled like a spring in my chest. The room felt impossibly small, as if the walls were closing in with every heartbeat. Her gaze roamed over me, lingering on the dress, the makeup, the delicate jewelry I'd never dared wear before. Every second felt like an eternity. I realized just how exposed I was, not just physically, but emotionally. Physical and emotional tension. My body trembled, but I also felt alive. The thrill of being caught, the risk of rejection, the vulnerability, it all combined into an electric surge of sensation. I tried to adjust my stance, straighten my posture, but the heels made even small movements precarious. I didn't mean to shock you, I whispered. My hands clutched the edges of the dress as if it could shield me from her judgment. Yet the more I feared, the more aware I became of my new self, soft, vulnerable, and undeniably feminine. Isabella's lips curved into a faint, mysterious smile. You look different, she said slowly, almost teasingly. I never thought you'd try this. Her words were neither condemnation nor approval, but the uncertainty made me sweat. High stakes reveal. Just as I began to relax slightly, the apartment's front door banged open. A delivery person had arrived, dropping a package on the floor and turning to leave, but not before catching a glimpse of me. Their eyes widened, and a stifled laugh escaped. My face burned crimson. Isabella's attention snapped from me to the package, but the tension lingered. Could this stranger tell my secret? Would someone else see me like this? Every instinct screamed to retreat, but my body refused. I was caught between fear and the intoxicating thrill of being exposed yet alive. Symbolic moment. I glanced at the full-length mirror across the room. The girl in the reflection stared back, poised and trembling at once. Her lips curved slightly, her eyes sparkled with defiance. The wig slipped slightly from the back of my head, threatening to expose the illusion entirely. My fingers twitched, ready to adjust it, but the movement only heightened the suspense. I realized something crucial. This mirror wasn't just showing a reflection. It was revealing my duality, the person I had been and the person I was becoming. The line between Alex and the girl in the mirror blurred until I wasn't sure which one I wanted to be anymore. Unexpected challenge. A sudden vibration from my phone broke the spell. A new notification flashed. Camera app glitch detected. Image saved. I froze. Could someone have captured my transformation? Panic surged through me. My hands shook as I reached for the phone, trying to delete the evidence, but Isabella noticed and cocked an eyebrow. Is everything okay? She asked, voice laced with concern and intrigue. I swallowed hard, debating whether to lie. Yeah, just a glitch, I stammered. But the lie felt hollow. The fear of discovery, mixed with my growing thrill, made my pulse race uncontrollably. Close calls. The day progressed like a tightrope act. Every step I took in heels felt like a gamble. Every glance at the mirror reminded me of the precarious line I walked between my old self and this new persona. Isabella observed quietly, sometimes asking subtle questions that probed my transformation. At one point, she handed me a coat she had picked up from the couch. "Here, you might need this," she said casually, but her eyes lingered. I knew she saw more than she let on. The thrill of being partially understood yet mostly secret heightened every sensation in my body. Emotional escalation. Hours passed. I twirled in front of the mirror, testing expressions, practicing speech, moving with a grace I had never owned as Alex. Yet guilt gnawed at me. Was I betraying Isabella, or was this an uncharted way of expressing myself? Could she accept this version of me? Each heartbeat echoed with tension. My palms sweated, my breath quickened, and yet I felt exhilarated. I realized I craved this duality, the secret, the thrill, the chance to explore an entirely new dimension of myself. Climactic twist. Just as I thought the moment might settle, my phone rang loudly. The screen displayed a name I didn't recognize. Someone had discovered the transformation app's secret database and apparently linked it to me. My heart jumped into my throat. Isabella noticed immediately, her gaze snapping to mine. "Alex, what's happening?" she demanded, her voice a mix of worry and shock. I froze, every instinct screaming to hide, to retreat, to vanish into my former self. But the girl in the mirror wouldn't let me. She had tasted freedom, power, and vulnerability all at once. And she wasn't willing to disappear, not yet. Suspense peak. I stood there, frozen, heels precarious, wig slipping slightly, phone in hand, and Isabella watching every move. The app's glow reflected off the mirror, casting an eerie, seductive light. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but every heartbeat demanded I stay. Time slowed. One wrong move, one slip of the wig, one glance at the phone, and my secret could unravel completely. The thrill and terror merged into one sharp, intoxicating edge. And just as I made a decision, whether to embrace this new self fully or retreat into Alex, the phone vibrated again. A notification popped up. Transformation confirmed. "You cannot undo this." The words sank like ice. I was trapped. There was no turning back. I stood frozen in front of the mirror, the words transformation confirmed. "You cannot undo this," burning into my mind. My reflection, the girl I had become, stared back at me, calm and confident, while my heart raced with fear and disbelief. There was no going back. Alex was gone, replaced entirely by this new, fragile, yet strangely empowered version of me. Isabella's eyes never left me. She took a cautious step forward, her fingers lightly brushing my shoulder. "Alex, or whoever you are now, are you okay?" Her voice trembled slightly, betraying curiosity and a flicker of worry. I wanted to speak, to reassure her, to explain, but the words tangled in my throat. How could I describe the chaos inside me? The thrill, the fear, the overwhelming vulnerability, the irresistible curiosity of being fully someone else? I don't know, I whispered finally, my voice high and unfamiliar. I felt the dress cling to my body, the heels forcing me into a delicate posture, and the wig framing my face in soft waves. Everything screamed that this new identity wasn't temporary. The threat of discovery. The phone buzzed again, a persistent reminder that someone else knew. The app's notification system glowed ominously, a silent threat. My secret could be exposed at any moment. My fingers hovered over it, unsure whether to hide, delete, or embrace it. Every second felt like a razor balancing between freedom and catastrophe. Isabella's gaze shifted to the phone, then back to me. "Alex, are you hiding something from me?" she asked, her tone now sharper, slightly suspicious. The air between us tightened. One wrong move, and everything could unravel. I swallowed hard, realizing how precarious this moment was. If Isabella discovered the full extent of the transformation, or if someone else saw the notification, it could ruin everything. My heart pounded, my body trembled, and yet an unexpected thrill coursed through me. A moment of vulnerability. I stepped closer to the mirror, fingertips tracing the outline of my jaw, the curve of my shoulders. I barely recognized myself. Soft features, delicate hands, eyes that seemed to hold both wonder and fear. The reflection was a mirror of possibilities, new experiences, new emotions, and new identities I had never dared explore. Isabella watched silently, her expression unreadable. There was a tension in the room, thick and almost suffocating. I wanted to reach for her hand, to share this strange new self with her, but uncertainty froze me. Would she accept this version of me, or would she recoil? Symbolic cliffhanger moment. I glanced at the wig slipping slightly at the back of my head. The mirror reflected two truths simultaneously: the girl I had become and the boy I once was. My hands instinctively went to adjust it, but a soft laugh escaped Isabella. "You look different. But I think I like it," she murmured. Her words were comforting yet ambiguous. Liking it didn't mean accepting it. And in that moment, the app notification lit up again. Another message: "Your transformation has begun a new phase. Full control is now impossible." My breath caught. Full control was impossible. That meant permanence. That meant every step I took from this moment forward would be in this new body, in this new identity. The realization hit like a tidal wave, leaving me trembling on heels that suddenly felt too tall, too delicate, too real. Unresolved tension. I looked at Isabella, then back at the mirror, then at the glowing phone. Each glance carried weight, fear, and desire. Could she ever understand this version of me? Could I navigate a world where my old self no longer existed? The room felt suspended in time, every second stretched taut with anticipation. My heart raced with uncertainty, my mind swirling with possibilities and dangers. The thrill of transformation was intoxicating, but the fear of exposure lingered like a shadow, dark and persistent. Final suspenseful image. I raised my head, meeting Isabella's gaze directly, trying to gauge her reaction. The mirror reflected my delicate, feminine form, the dress clinging perfectly, the wig in place yet precarious. And then, my phone buzzed once more. Another notification. I hesitated, fingers hovering above the screen. I took a deep breath, my pulse hammering in my ears. Whatever I found on that screen could change everything. Could reveal my secret. Could destroy my life, or solidify my new one. And then, with a trembling hand, I pressed it. The screen glowed. And everything went silent. The camera cut to black.